Nice that I'm able to, share my thoughts on how to help your children choose a suitable career. Career, career, I think, is one of the most important decisions that a person has to make in his entire life because, like marriage, once we commit ourselves to a profession or to a career, then it takes a long time for us to wean away from it. Or if at all you want to move out and change the course, it's not all that easy. It involves a cost, it involves effort, time, etc., etc. So, like marriage, I think when we make a career decision, it's for something we plan for our entire life. So, it has to be done very, very systematically, scientifically, and not just take a decision out of the blue, right? So I think that is why we are even all of us are here to just see how to help our children take or make a career decision that would be most suitable for them. Are you able to see my next slide? Is the slide moving? Sometimes it gets stuck. That's why I want
Yes,
to.
ma'am, it's visible.
So retirement, I know you must be wondering. I thought we were talking about choosing a career, and then the first slide itself is on retirement. Sometimes it's better to start with the end in mind. What is it that I ultimately want? So, what does retirement mean to us? Is it really an Indian concept? This whole thing of retirement and why should we retire? These are the thoughts I mean, or questions that I want you to think about. And if anybody wants, you are most welcome to share your thoughts on any of these questions. What retirement means to you? We could make it interactive discussion in case anybody wants to share.
It's a reunion with the family.
Yeah, what?
I feel it should be like a reunion with the family, I believe. So many days we are caught up with the work. Then it's time we get back to family again. In current day's trend.
Okay. So, is this an Indian concept, the whole thing of retirement?
Probably there from the British time as well, I believe.
Yeah, probably from the Britishers, from the time Britishers ended. For us, retirement, anybody else wants to share something about retirement and your thoughts on it? And okay, so retirement is obviously staying, I mean, putting an end to whatever we were doing and then doing, relaxing or not doing anything, just being who we are, what we want to do, nothing, maybe doing nothing and relaxing is retirement. And is it an Indian concept? Not really, as he was sharing. It is probably the Britishers brought this in. And why should we retire?
I think somewhere we need to give a full stop to our regular works. And we need to give a break. We at least take a look back at our own gardens, look at like trees, water them. At least our family.
Okay.
It's getting more mechanical. I think Britishers got that concept. I believe, I'm not sure, madam, who brought it. But seeing my father, forefather and all, they're all not during the independent India. They were all during the pre-independent era. So since it is there right from that time, I think Britishers have thought it sensibly that after a particular time, we should say bye to our routines and catch up with the grandchildren, groom them, show some way for the future generation, probably.
So obviously, so thank you so much for sharing that. And so that means we take a break from our routine life, our mechanical life, spend more time with family, etc., etc., etc. Okay, great. So where I want to take you from here is, now think of the top 5 activities, which when you do, you enjoy the most, like you totally, forget who you are and where you are, and you're totally engrossed in it. Think of, if not 5, at least 2, 3 activities, which when you do, you are totally with yourself. Gives you maximum enjoyment. It could be anything. It could be singing, dancing, cooking, gardening, working on machineries, repairing gadgets. Yeah.
I would say, as far as I'm concerned, it would be my physical activity, where I tend to spend a lot. When I sweat, I really forget myself. I delve into that. And more than that, of course, being a teacher, I loved my classes. I don't know whether my student liked it or not, but I enjoyed my classes. So these are two things. In fact, that was one turning point in my life that brought me as a teacher, because I am basically a mariner by profession, and then accidentally a teacher by passion.
Okay, great. So when you do physical activities and when you are teaching, you are totally with yourself and you're engrossed. Anybody else wants to share? What is it that when you do, you totally lose yourself? You are like, anybody else? Okay, no. Fine. So let me take what he has told. So, sir, okay, teaching is something that you love doing. So I'm assuming you're not 60 right now. So if I tell you, after 60, you should not do any teaching. Okay, you should retire. How would you feel?
No, I think I'll stick to what I love. After retirement, I'll have a space for that, what I love, what I intend to do.
Yeah. So
take up some guest lectures. I'll be more focused towards my physical activity. So it gives more space to do what we love.
Yeah. So that means it takes me back to this retirement is does not, I mean, if you are doing something that you love doing, if you have chosen a career or a profession that you love doing, let's say you love doing music and then you don't want to stop creating music at all. If you're a singer, you're a dancer, you love doing mathematics, solving problems, or working with in a lab. I mean, these are things that you love doing and you already have that as your career. Then why should we retire? This whole concept of retirement doesn't come in at all. So that means the idea behind choosing careers is to choose something that I love so much that every day is a vacation for me, because I love my occupation so much that it doesn't look like a job to me. It is more of a vacation. Even when I'm doing my work, it is vacation. Actually, today is Sunday, and for all of you, you're all listening. For me, actually, this is supposed to be work. I'm supposed to be working today, but I don't think so. It looks like I'm out on a picnic. I just love doing this because though this is my occupation, supposedly my job, I love what I'm doing. That so even on a Sunday evening, sitting and talking about this gives me so much happiness. So that then is the base for choosing any career. Very simple. Choose something that you love doing. Okay, so then this whole concept of retirement doesn't come in. As I was saying, this is not an Indian concept. This is a concept that was brought in by the Britishers, where they said, they trained us to do or learn certain things, certain skills, which were useful for them, for their industries, and then they put us into those industries, and then we work there, and then after some time they said, it's okay, it's your time is over, leave. Okay, but I think if you look at Indian tradition, this was never there. We had the ashrama system before the Britishers came in, where the brahmacharya ashrama we were studying, and then the grahastha ashrama, you take up a job or a career or choose something that suits you, that suits your personality, and then you have a house, earn money, and make sure, take care of your family. Prastha starts from the time you're 50 years old. So 20 to 50, you're like with the household, and 50 years onwards, we do the same thing, whatever we were doing, but we don't take money for it. Or rather, we do it more as a, something that I'm passionate about and I'm giving back to the society. And then comes the sannyasa ashrama that is after 80. If we all, at today's times, if we still live after 80, then yeah, you go into sannyasa. So that means this retirement concept never came in because people chose what they love and they kept doing it. For some time they did it for money. After some time they did it for their own passion and gave it back to the society. So this is how it was. And so that means if we choose a career that we are passionate about, then we don't have to work even one day and we would never have to retire. And this is how we have to help our children choose careers, not a job where you are waiting to retire and then do something else. The best way to choose careers is this. Careers are not made by chance but by choice. I do not take up a career because somebody told me it's great, somebody told me it's good, somebody told me that this will pay well, somebody told me that this particular time period, this job is the best, that job is the best. This is not how we choose careers. Careers are chosen by choice. It's like a game of chess. It's not a game of Ludo. In a game of Ludo, you do not have the full control over the moves. Like you throw the dice and then whatever comes based on that, you make the move. But the first step is not in your hand. It's totally probability. If I get 2, and then I move this. I get 3, I move that. But I don't know what I'll get. But careers are not like that. Careers are like a game of chess. Right from the first move, I have complete control over it. I decide how I have to go about doing this, what I choose. I hope my slide is moving to move to the next slide. If you're able to see this picture, if you're not able to, let me know. So this picture, it's called the Animal School. And maybe some of you have already seen it. It's available on Google. So if you look at this, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. And the exam is, please climb that tree. Right? So what a wonderful way of testing, no? Every animal or every bird or every creature here has its own potential, has its own inner chip, that special characteristic or talent within. But then, you don't look at all that. You just say that this is what you should do. So in fact, I don't blame teachers. I don't blame anybody. It's our education system is made that way, that all children have to take that same 5 exams. Maybe you are an artist, you are an athlete, you are a math prodigy, whoever you are, you have to take all the 5. And then in this particular exam, I think the obviously the monkey will be the first. It will get the first rank. Then all others are going to fail. Maybe some of them will get a moderate average thing. And then everybody says monkey is the most intelligent animal in the forest. Is it right? Is it allowed? Is it okay? But this is exactly what we are doing to our children. Okay, but at least in class 10, we don't have an option. If the child is in any one of the boards, Indian system, we don't have a choice where we have to make them study all the 5 subjects. But going forward, when they move to class 11, 12, and then to college, why not bring out that special talent in that child? Each child has its own special talent, characteristic within. Why not we as parents help them realize it? Okay. So if you go by the marks and the school exams and everything, you may not be able to find out what that real talent is. Talk to your children about whatever I asked you, top 5 activities that you love doing. Ask your children that. See if any of those activities can be turned into a career. Today, in India, we have 100 workable careers. I'm just telling minimum 100 workable careers. It was in those days, that we thought, except engineering, medicine, law, CA, like 5-6 careers. There you have a proper career path. Others, it's the career path is not very clear. So, or not jobs were not even available for a very long time. But in the past 5 years, we see that any career, anything that they choose, anything that they love doing, if they want, they can actually make it into a career. Courses are available, jobs are available. If not, business options are always available. So it is not impossible. Okay, so let's not do this animal school thing with our children. Let's help them help them understand what their inner talents are. It could be anything. Okay, it could be singing, dancing, drawing, cooking, hairdressing, makeup, doing math, crossword puzzles. It could be anything. Find out all that. Find out what your child really loves doing. And then see if this could be incorporated into or made into a career. Okay, so this is a case study that I want to share with you because, one thing I see today is, children, it's not only the class 10, 11, 12 children who come to me for career assessment and counseling and all that. I find people in mid-career, sometimes students or young adults, like, 25, 30-year-olds, who come to me saying, I'm not at all happy with what I'm doing. Like 5 years, I'm working in this IT company, but I'm not happy at all. I want to shift. I'm bored. I think I'm not in the right place. And so let me tell me what I'm really good at. And I want to know, pursue that. I have many adults coming in for this kind of counseling. So it's not wrong. Like, it's fine to shift careers. Nobody's saying no to it. But then if we can help them choose a career that is more suitable for them by the time they are in class 11 or 12, then you could save a lot of money, time, and effort. Because career shift is not easy. Okay, because I see people making career shifts and I know the kind of struggle they undergo by the time they really settle in the next career. So why let our children do that? So this is a case study about two people. Okay, one is Arjun. Okay, Arjun is an IT professional. He completed his BE in mechanical engineering, and then through placement, he got, this is real life case study that I'm saying, it's not anything I cooked up. So this person then took up a job in an IT company. Of course, IT companies take any engineers. So, and then they train them in that software that they want. So, and after that, he went up the career ladder. Okay, but when he was in class 11 and 12 and all that, his passion was cooking. So he really wanted to, actually do catering technology or culinary arts, and then maybe take it up as a career. But then his father was very clear that wouldn't work out, that you wouldn't, that's not our family. I don't want you getting into cooking and all that. So get into a proper engineering course. And so once Arjun got into the IT company, he did really well. Okay, he was very good at what he was doing. And so he went up the career ladder. And by the time he was like, 5-6 years, he was at the managerial cadre and doing very well, earning a real good, salary pay packet and all that. And everything was going well. And all along, this passion for cooking never died. So whenever he found time, he would find out recipes, new recipes, and he'd cook. Weekends, he would cook and call people. Somebody is coming home for dinner. He'll say, no, usually we'll say, okay, let's buy outside. He'll say, no, I will cook. So whenever he finds time, he cooks. And he had a blog for, putting up his recipes, trying out new recipes. In fact, he was also thinking of making YouTube videos on that. And so that passion for cooking never left him. And he used to do that all along. And then you had, on the other hand, Aarti. Aarti was also very passionate about cooking. And so when she was in class 12, she took this entrance exam for the Institute of Hotel Management, all India level, and then she got selected. She was placed in a hotel management college in Kerala. She finished, and then she was immediately absorbed by the Taj Group, and then she worked there for some time. And after 5 years, she left her job there and she started her own catering business. And now she's supplying, food in a school nearby, and she's also doing a lot of catering for other places, and she also does cookery classes, and she's very, very, very happy, and she's also earning money. So what is the difference? Whose is a career, whose is job? Both of them are earning money, both of them are doing very well. So which do you think is career, which do you think is job? Anybody wants to share? Arjun's is career or Aarti's is career? Or both are careers? Arjun's is the work that he is doing is a job. Whereas what Aarti is doing is career. Why? Because if you go by this, career is a profession or occupation that one trains for and pursues as life work in order to use personal talent, provide service or goods, earn money, and contribute to the society. So if I am doing all this, then I could call what I'm doing as my career. But if I am just doing a particular job because I'm in this position and I'm employed there and I do a set of activities and I get a payment. Yeah, Arjun was good in what he was doing, but he was never passionate about it. That is not actually his talent. His talent and passion was elsewhere, but he was doing this job. And in India, I think most of us, or many people, I think, take up jobs and they don't have a career. Because when you choose a career in India, most of the time, either parents or students are only looking at how much would be the salary, where would I be placed, can I, earn so much in 5 years. These are the questions people ask when it comes to choosing careers. I think it's totally the wrong way to start making career choices. It should start from what I enjoy doing, what I'm really good at. And then if I'm really good at it and I enjoy doing this, I'll be the best in that. So I study for that, and then I take up a career or a job in that field. Obviously, I'll be the best there. And if I am the best there, wouldn't I obviously be earning a lot of money? Okay. So I think it should go from there to here, but people are going from here to there. And that is why by the time someone is like 30 years, 35 years old, they have a burnout. Or forget it. Sometimes, children are forced into careers or colleges or courses that they don't really want to do. And then after 3 years, they have so many arrears, they drop out of college and they don't want to do anything. Or sometimes they finish college because they are forced to do it. They come out of college and they don't go for work. These are all real lifetime case studies that I see every day in my office. So it's, sometimes feel if only parents would listen or see what the child really wants, listen to the child, check out what she wants. Let the child ramble, let the child tell you what he loves doing. He loves doing this, loves doing that. They love doing, gaming. If they are really good at gaming, itself can be a profession. Okay, if they love drawing, then design can be a profession. So that way, parents, I think, should see what the child really wants. And then at least be open to, okay, maybe it's an offbeat career. Maybe nobody in your house has ever taken it up as a career. Because many parents tell me this. Ma'am, she wants to pursue, visual communication. And none of us in our house are even doing that. We are all engineers or this or lawyers or chartered accountants or whatever, we have nothing to do with that career. So I don't know. I don't want my daughter going there because I have no clue how to take it from there. Then I would suggest, why not talk to an expert instead of curbing your child's passion to do Viscom? Why don't we talk to an expert and find out more about that career? See if the child is really, suitable for that, and then make the child take it up. So that way the child will be happy, your child will be happy, and child will not have barriers. Child will not drop out of college or will not come out and say, I don't want to take up a job. Because I still know, I remember one case where I did a career assessment, and then during the counseling session, I told the parent that your child is most suitable for art related careers, design related careers. And but then the father was very clear, no, design wouldn't be suitable. I'm going to put her through engineering, computer science engineering. I said, okay, fine. Like, when we can't stop anybody from doing anything. So after 4 years, that girl comes out of engineering, is even selected, and she takes up a job. 6 months, she has told her father, I'm quitting and I want to meet the career counselor I met 4 years, 4.5 years back. And then she came back to me and she said, Ma'am, I know I'm in the wrong place. I want to do the assessment again and see where I should be. When we did the assessment, again, it was very clear she has to go into art. Then she quit her job. She did a course in designing, app designing and website designing and all that. And then she moved to a company which develops websites, and she was a website designer there. So ultimately, if children have to be happy and successful, I think we have to help them choose what they really love doing. But invariably, these factors tend to influence career choices. One is influence of significant others. Who are these significant others? None other than parents, teachers, sometimes relatives, family, friends. Everybody seems to come into this. When it comes to career choice, I know many parents, who ask their brother, sister, aunt, and I ask everybody who comes home to advise their children about which career to choose. Then everybody would say what they think. So these significant others have a big influence on the career choice the children make. But it's okay. I mean, parents know their children best, but make sure that the parent also is in line with what the child really wants to do, should really enjoy what the child is doing. I mean, should enjoy the career choice that is made. So if that aligns, great. Otherwise, we need to really take an expert opinion. Peer group is friends. Friends play a very important role, especially during teenage. And so very, very often they are influenced by what their friends say. Here we need to be careful. We need to help them understand that, peers are your own age group children. So we need to make sure that the decision is not swayed in the wrong way. Prestige, as I said, one particular father said, no, cooking and all, not meant for us. Our family, we have to be engineers or doctors or lawyers. We can't be chefs. Prestige plays an important role. Gender. Even a week back, I had a girl who wanted to take up visual communication, and the mother was very particular. No media. Then my daughter, her safety. So gender is a big factor, and socioeconomic status, the kind of money that you can back up, decides which college you go to and which course you take up. Certain courses are off limits for children who are in the lower socioeconomic status. And academic performance, 125%, it's even 200%. It's like it plays a very, very vital role. So please tell your children that how much ever they are passionate about what they want to do, anything, marks play an important role, because it's the marks that they get in the class 12 decides which college they go into. Unless it's like very few careers are there in India where it doesn't matter how much you get in the class 12, but many careers are dependent upon the academic performance. So these are the various factors that actually influence career choice. But what you should keep in mind while choosing career is these three things. If we can, make sure that we know what our child's inner strength is, inner abilities are, and then we know what they really enjoy doing, their interests and their personalities. If we can, help them understand all this and then choose a career based on these, okay? Though these factors play a very influential role in career choice, make sure that they don't have a big influence. Instead, These three things become the base for choosing any career. Okay, before your child chooses a career, make sure the child has an aptitude or ability for doing it. If it's engineering, then they must love doing physics and math, and they should be really good at it, and they should be interested in it, and it should really they should enjoy doing it. If all this happens, then yes, engineering. If they want to choose designing as a career, then they must have an innate ability, spatial ability, design ability, psychomotor ability. They must be interested in art related activities. They must enjoy it. So if they do all this, then that will be a suitable career. So how to decide what my child's suitable career is? See if they have the ability for it, see if they are passionate about it, and see if they are enjoying it. If they do all that, then great. Then that will be the most suitable career for them. Okay. So career planning is very, very important. Let's say you're going to go buy a mobile or a dress or anything. Maybe you'll be using this for like what, 2 years? A mobile, you will use it for 2 years. A dress, maybe 3 years, depends, or 1 year. But just for that, how much research we do to before you buy a mobile or a laptop, which you're going to use only for 2 years, 5 years maximum. Then how much more scientific and research based should be a career choice? So it should be planned. I feel career planning should start from the time the child is in class 9 and class 10. At least a generic idea or a plan should be in place so that they take the right kind of group necessary. And then by class 12, it should be very, very concrete. Okay. And this career planning should be based on your child's abilities, interests, motivational traits, values, beliefs. So that means as a parent, you really need to sit and talk to them, or rather don't talk, listen to them. Parents talk, they tell them, advise them, tell them, do this, do that, do this, do that. This is very good, this is very good. I know you, you do this. I think we should talk less and ask the child, what are your values? Let the child tell, what are your beliefs? I remember one case where the boy, I'm talking about 10 years back, when Viscom and design were not as popular as it is now. And so this boy, I told him there are two options that you have. One is humanities, psychology, or art design related careers. He said, ma'am, I want to do mass communication. I'm very clear, Viscom, or no, art based career. Then I said, we don't know, it's a very offbeat career, and design. We don't know how much, the first job, how much you will earn, or nothing is clear. Are you sure? He said, yes. For me, it's not money. It is, I love doing art, and I should be in art-based career and not something that may give me money, but not happiness. It's okay even if my first salary is only 15,000, that I should love and I should be passionate about it. So that means his value system is a little different, where his values is not here on money, but on happiness. So ask your child what her or his value systems are, belief systems are, what motivates him or her to do something. Then decide on a career. So once you understand what know yourself, that is, understand their innate abilities, interests, etc., arrive at career alternatives. 4 or 5 options that would be suitable for my abilities, personality, interest, etc. And then from these 4, do a lot of research about these 4 or 5 careers. Do a lot of research and find out which is the most suitable for me. Then make that career decision and then take action as to look into the admission procedure, which colleges offer the course, etc. Okay, and the last part of the session is the various options available if you take any one of these arts or humanities. We have history, geography, literature, psychology, sociology, journalism, social work, fine arts. So this is a big list. So if anybody has any clarifications about any of the careers I've mentioned here, or you want more information about any of these careers, you're most welcome to ask me. I'm not going to explain each one. So today, any one of these careers, we have courses and we also have job opportunities. Travel and tourism. Today we have a BA in travel and tourism, MA in travel and tourism, and we have enough travel websites that need travel experts. Designing fashion, interior, product, jewelry, car. I mean, you're like app designing, so many. So,
how about a career in sports, madam? How long do you think the sustainability will be there? Because it is age related. Unless the student interested makes a mark at the formative years and reaches a particular level of culmination, because we need to see the sustainability of life and family later also. Of course, a very wonderful presentation, a lot of informative things, and something who what one enjoys, and that's become a career means definitely it's very fulfilling. But at one point of time, sometimes a career like this, where sports especially, where there is, unless a person makes his mark within a particular period of time, where the field is also very competitive, and beyond a certain level, when we know that it's making a cut out of it is very difficult because of the upcoming competitions. How do you think will be the sustainability, especially like sports like cricket or football or hockey, or in fact kabaddi, which is not a celebrated sport in India, but where there is a person who is so passionate about it and he wants to make a cut on that. And later on, I hope you get my point, what I'm trying to.
You're talking only about sports, right?
Yeah, as a sports, because that I see it's missing here. But if we have some student who is very passionate about it, and especially not a very celebrated sport, which we let's take something like archery or something like that, which is, though at Olympic level only it is celebrated. Of course, he's passionate about it, is going for it, but is unable, unfortunately, is unable to make the cut out of it, to sustain a life out of it. But he enjoys it. But when it comes to later point of life and of sustainability of his family, taking care of them, and at that point, do you think it will be a demotivating factor to that particular individual, whether he has taken a wrong choice in the life? Late realization, I'm asking.
I think if you are choosing a career like sports, then obviously being a player, see, India is one country that's highly populated. And so we have only few people playing at the national level. And so for a country like India, the number of people playing, the ratio is very pathetic. It's like very bad. So becoming a player may be possible, may not be possible, but they can always get into government jobs under sports quota, like bank and railways and all that. You also have the sports quota based on which you start, you could get in and you will be playing, actually doing more of playing rather than working. Or you could start your own sports academy. The child could, for some time you play the sport, but after some time, obviously, since it's a physical activity, you can't go on. Like there's an age limit for that. So after that, there's always coaching. There's a lot of business opportunities in sports. So they could, the sports management, sports psychology, so many other factors related to sports. See, I can't be a player, but I can do something related to that sport. That is a possibility.
But what would you suggest, suppose for a student who is very passionate about some sport, do you think for him a minimum degree is a must, or can he switch over to that particular thing after higher secondary itself? Suppose a student says that a parent does not talk much to him, or they probably listen to them, and he was not so communicative. At the higher secondary level, he says that no, now I am very passionate about this. He comes to a very surprising decision to his parents. Suddenly I spotted, I have not opened my mouth because I was afraid that you might not accept me. So long, and they have found that student as an academically studious person. The parents was very confident about him because he has fared well in the academics also. But at one point of time, he reveals that no, I am not so. I had set a goal, I achieved my academic goal, but now I set a different goal. It is my sports goal. I want to change career, and now I would like to enter. So at the level of higher secondary, he wants to make a decision. You put me into sports, and as you say, he does, but with some anxiety, it goes on. But later, let's assume that without a minimum degree, do you think still it will be very possible to sustain through sports or through getting selected?
There are sports universities which give a degree in sports itself. We have BSc sports, we have Bachelor of Physical Education, we have BBA in sports management. There are so many courses, degrees offered in sports itself. So if they really want to pursue a career in sports, they can also take up a degree in sports. I mean, that is possible. I know, like the BPEd is a Bachelor of Physical Education. It's a 3-year course, or a BSc in sports. After that, they go into they write the civil services exam and get into police, IPS, IAS and all that. So that is also a possibility. But whenever a child says, I want to get into sports, one thing we need to really see is the child really playing the sport? See, so many people, many students I've seen, now I'm interested in sports. I say, so which sport? Football. Okay, so are you in the team? No. Are you playing for the school? No. District? No, nothing. I just love football. Then it is, I don't know if you can really make it into a career. If somebody wants to make music, dance, sports, and all this into a career, we should see how much they are doing it, like passionate about it, and whether how many certificates they have got, how many matches they have really played. All this really matters.
Yeah, that's
so if they do all that, then yes, I know many students where, in fact, there are certain schools, where 11 and 12 itself, once they go there, they'll be allowed to play matches at the school level, district level, etc. They will still get the 11 and 12. They will come out of it. Come out of 12 with a degree. Or today, there are many students who take up sports very seriously, that they go in for the NIOS option, National Institute of Open School, where there are centers which where I can, it's an open school system where they can take exams as and when they want, but they do full-time training in sports. Sports, music, dance, art, these are all careers where they must really dedicate themselves to it. See, why I'm not saying this for science and math is because our school curriculum already makes them dedicate themselves to science and math. You don't need any special dedication. Whereas the other things, drawing, singing, dancing, sports are never taken as a priority in schools. So if someone wants to take it up as a career, then they must give it the priority. Like how would someone who wants to get into IIT or NIT or any engineering college, they go through this 2 years of rigorous training and on medicine, NEET, law, CLAT, such things. Like that, they should do it for music, dance, art, design, this one, because this is not concentrated in the school. So if they do that and they are passionate about it and they have the ability, then maybe they may not become a player all the time, but there are a lot of careers associated or related to these 3-4 areas. Okay, and this is all the possible careers in the field of science. The first, right from engineering till merchant navy, you don't need biology. See, actually, what I've put up here is a bare minimum. There are an umpteen number of courses, but I just thought I'll put the really most important ones. So for the first two careers from here to merchant navy, you don't need biology, but the rest from medicine onwards till psychology, you need biology. Viscom, hotel management, you don't really need any group is okay. Visual communication, hotel management, but since the Madras University and other universities here give it as a BSc, I've just put it under this, but actually you don't need, it's okay, any group is Okay. So if you have any queries about any one of these careers, let me know. For commerce, maybe there are it's only a few careers that we see, but I always say, whichever company you are in, you need an accountant. Whichever, any career, any business, any place, even the manufacturing unit or a hospital or a school, these people will be there. So when it comes to commerce, job opportunities are like too many. So these are the various career options under commerce. So if you have any queries and okay, so anybody has any question, you're most welcome to ask.
Okay.
Any questions? No? Okay, so thank you very much.